roughly around 11.5 wide open throttle target. That's what I'm talking about. Woo! Now, this one, we extended it, we taped it off now. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we are doing an oil change on the turbo R18 Civic. We're just taking it out for a spin. It's nice cold weather, 50 degrees. We're gonna warm it up, get the oil warm so we can drain it nicely. This is gonna be approaching, let me see how many miles, roughly 3,000 miles on this oil change. My oil life indicator is telling me we have 50% oil life left. So usually I was switching it at roughly around 4,000, but with the boost, guys, you know, you gotta change it a little bit faster. I'm running 530 weight oil. It's a little thicker. The engine definitely likes it. Full Race also recommends 530. And yeah, man, it dilutes. It smells like gas. I'm running a conservative air fuel ratio, roughly around 11.5 wide open throttle target, which is pretty conservative and more on the rich side just to keep it safe. Obviously, this is my first time tuning a vehicle, and yeah, you could definitely tell the oil smells like fuel, and it does thin out a little bit. So 3,000 miles, we'll keep it at that. We'll be changing it roughly around every 3,000 for now. Winter's approaching. So a couple things. We're gonna knock out the oil change, and then we're gonna be trying to install the oxygen sensor defouler so we can pass emissions on this vehicle next year, because it will be due. My options are like this: either I pass emissions with the defouler, or the turbo kit has to come off. I got an Audi in front of me, exhaust. He ain't ready for the boost though. That's what I'm talking about, man. Mazda Speed 3 right here. Oh, I love this car, man. And guys, look at the fall colors here. Look at it. That's what I'm talking about. Let's warm this puppy up. So like I said, man, that defouler's gotta work. If not, we gotta do a lot of hard work taking off the turbo, installing the factory catalytic converter and all that, just to put it back in again. That's what my buddy Sean had to do on his 9th gen turbo Civic. Unfortunately, I hope I really don't have to do that. Anyway, guys, let's warm it up, and we'll get back to you soon. So I'm just gonna run it in D3 right here, pretty much like 70% throttle. It shifts pretty good. Wide open throttle, as you guys know, doesn't shift that well, so we're just waiting on the green light. We'll do like I said, 50 to 75% throttle. right there we hit boost cut. I think from the second to third gear we hit boost cut. Again, my boost cut is pretty low, like 8 pounds, and boost spikes when you're shifting. So if you want to raise the boost cut, you may have better experiences with the shifting, most likely. But again, I don't want the boost to spike too much, and especially with this colder weather, 50-60 degrees here now, it definitely increases boost pressure with the colder temperatures. She moves, boss. She is moving, and I'm pretty sure that oil is warmed up by now. That's what I'm talking about, running good. So as you guys can see, the car is running top notch, everything is working, temperatures are good, there's no problems with leaks or anything. Let me give you guys a couple, 2 steps here that I got set up, and then I think she'll be ready to change the oil. I'd say this was a successful build. What do you guys think? Drop a comment down below. All right, oil change is done. Now what I'm focusing on is that intake and the water cooling lines for the turbo. So last time we installed the water lines right here. You can see they're T-tapped into the water heater hoses, and they're just right over here running into the turbo. You see those 2 lines go into the turbo. Well, the intake piping right over here sits right on top of these hoses, and it just creates a lot of heat with the intake air temperatures. So what I'm gonna try to do here, I might drain the antifreeze just so we don't get a lot of spillage, and we might reroute these hoses lower. We might have to actually get a new hose to make it longer, so we can go down, reroute it around back so it doesn't interfere with the charge pipe, so we get cooler temperatures. Overall I'm happy I did the water heater lines. You know, it does help with the longevity of the turbo, but honestly, with the intake air temperatures running it this way it is now, routed this way, I'm not really seeing any cooler charge temperatures. So it's actually probably worse or just about the same as before. So hopefully rerouting these things will create that cooler intake air temperatures and the longevity that we're looking for. All right, we're under the vehicle, and over there you can see is my oxygen sensor bung, so we're having a great time trying to remove that bolt from the downpipe, but we're getting there slowly but surely, and we'll be back in 20 minutes when that's probably removed. That will get started with that defouler extended O2 sensor installation. Hopefully it goes well. Alright guys, this is the defouler. It comes with a few parts here. There are different sizes of additional restrictors that come with the kit. There's some bigger restrictors. We're using the smallest, or we're using the biggest restrictor, which has the smallest hole. Then essentially you pop that restrictor right into that. You pop that restrictor right into that hole, and you use a C-clip right over there, and you should be good to go. The O2 sensor plugs in here. So as you guys can see, this is the setup, and these are the different little holes here. I already put this in the vehicle. It does fit, and we did tighten it down just a little bit. There's really a lot of clearance issues there to get wrenches in. So ideally, if you're putting your downpipe in, make sure you get this defouler in before you put the downpipe in the vehicle. Now this one, we extended it, we taped it off now, and we're gonna install this into that defouler, plug it in. We're gonna go jump into Honda. We have to enable the secondary oxygen sensor to work, and we're gonna see if we get a check engine light or not. I'm curious if just doing this mod, you know, honestly, I'm not even sure if me extending these wires didn't just mess up the whole sensor and throw off everything. That's highly likely, so we'll find out once we plug it in and enable the O2 sensor. So let's give it a try. So we're in Honda, closed loop. We're gonna enable secondary oxygen sensor right here. We do want this to read in order to be emission compliant. There we go. And that's pretty much all the changes I'm gonna do. I'm gonna upload the tune, start up the car again. We just changed the oil. I'm probably gonna hold off on the coolant line rerouting because it's getting cold. I've been out here all day. That's probably gonna be a project. Maybe we'll probably just do that project in the summer when it's really gonna affect the temperatures. Right now in the winter, it's not a big deal. All right, boys, that's it. Installed right over there. You see the defouler. The oxygen sensor is installed on top of it. Pretty painful to install. Not a lot of clearance in this area, but we made it work. And as you can see, let me see if I can show you guys that. If you guys can see, I got that O2 sensor right there, zip tied right here to the fan, and going in right over here to my connection for the sensor. Pretty stealth, cannot even tell from this angle, and it works. So far it works. Car was idling for about 10 minutes, no check engine lights yet, so that's a good sign. We'll see in a couple of days how it works out, if the check engine light will appear or not. If not, perfect. Secondary O2 sensor works great. Now the next thing that we'll have to see if it's going to cause a check engine light is our EGR valve delete. As you guys can see, I have a block off plate right here, and on Honda it is disabled. So the next step would be to enable the EGR delete with the block off plate and see if it triggers any check engine lights. Now if it does trigger a check engine light, that's going to be a problem passing emissions, because ideally, like our factory system, we have some tubing going from EGR into that exhaust, and it takes those unburned gases, redirects them through the EGR into the intake manifold, and yeah, that's pretty much going to be impossible to get to the exhaust here. So we'll see. Comment down below if you guys pass emissions with EGR block off plates or if EGR is disabled. But on this video, I think it's gonna be a wrap, finishing up here, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and that's it. See you on the next one.
I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and see it's true, but the world is pretty cold, you might need a sweater too. future. Dreams of my own,